Imagine you're at a school and it's just like any ordinary day, and then suddenly you hear gunshots and screaming in the hallway. You reach down to get your phone to call 911, and then you realize you're forced to keep your phone in your locker and time is running out. You can't get to a phone to call for help. There are mixed views about whether students should be allowed to use their phones during school. I'm here to persuade you as to why students should be able to use their phones and have them with them during school. Schools should lift the ban of cell phone use in schools because they can be used to everyone's benefit. I think that the use of cell phones at school is beneficial to students and teachers as long as cell phones are being used responsibly. They can be assets in the classroom setting. I plan to persuade you as to why cell phones should be allowed in schools and how they can be beneficial, whether they are used to help keep people informed in event of an emergency, to help them with research in class, and to teach students how to use their devices responsibly. First, I will explain how cell phones help keep people informed in the event of an emergency. If there was a campus emergency like an active shooter, the school could send a message to all the students to inform them to lock down discreetly. USA Today says safety concerns are also often given as a reason to let kids have devices at school. When there is an accident or a tragic incident, the presence of phones lets parents get in touch with the kids, and the kids can get in touch with the parent. Allowing students to have access to their cell phones at school can help with the parents' peace of mind in the event of an emergency. If the students can communicate with their parents, it would prevent a frenzy from occurring as soon as the parents find out that their kids could be in danger. If cell phones were allowed in class, they could potentially endanger the students if their phone were to ring or if a light were to flash, because the cell phones could alert an assailant of your location. Cell phone usage during an emergency could also lead to poor reception, which would make it difficult for first responders to get in contact with the school and vice versa. Next, I will explain how cell phones aid in research. Cell phones have similar capabilities to computers, which can help students do research in class or act as a replacement for a calculator. Cell phones can serve as a tool for quick reference in the classroom when it comes to double-checking spelling, word definitions, or even to look up an alternative word choice. If students were working on projects or doing research in class, or studying for a test, their cell phones would give them instant access to the information they need. Any information a student may need while in class, they should be able to get from their notes, a textbook, or their teacher. The information a student may be looking up may not be correct and could result in them not doing as well in the class as they could if they had the information from class. Lastly, I will explain how allowing cell phones in class will teach students responsibility. By giving students the option to use their phones in class will help teach them time management skills and hold them accountable to use their devices responsibly. But there's a simple way to ensure that students use devices for educational purposes. Change the classroom dynamic from lecturing at the front of the room to having no traditional front of the classroom at all. Even if cell phones weren't allowed in class, students would still try to use them behind the teacher's back, so instead of banning them, teachers could encourage students to use them in an appropriate way. Incorporating cell phones into the curriculum can help teach students how to use their devices appropriately in certain settings. Students can't be trusted to use their cell phones properly because they will be texting, checking social media, and possibly accessing inappropriate sites. There is no way for teachers to monitor what all of the students are doing on their phones, so it would be counterproductive to have lessons tailored to using cell phones. If students have the option to use their phones in class, they will get distracted and do poorly on their assignments. Today, I persuaded you as to why cell phones should be allowed in schools, because they would benefit students and teachers in the event of an emergency or even on just a regular day in the classroom. Now you know what the benefits are of having cell phones in schools, for example, in the event of an emergency, to help with research, and to teach students responsibility. I hope that this speech was able to change or reinforce your perspective on whether or not cell phones should be allowed in schools and the benefits that they provide. As long as we educate on how to use cell phones appropriately in certain settings. Rather than banning them, we can all benefit from their capabilities.